What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Dr. June Messam of Every Child Counts. Dr. June, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Now, Every Child Counts. Talk about how that all got started.
So I am a pediatrician and a child abuse pediatrician, and I happen to own my own pediatric practice. I think that I grew up with parents who said, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so from the minute I started my private practice 19 years ago, I started giving back to the community. And it grew and grew. And then our current vice president, Heather Rusin, joined us. This is before Every Child Counts. And then we got bigger and bigger. And then it was just the next natural step. We got so big and people were donating so much, we absolutely had to become incorporated. And so Every Child Counts was born.
Now, Dr. Messam, talk about, what Every Child Counts does and how you serve the community.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful. So we have several programs and we serve kids at risk from birth to 18 years old. We have several programs and we'll take them wherever they are. And we always tell kids, if you're hungry, we're going to feed you. You need clothes, we're going to clothe you. If you were physically hurt, I provide the medical care, and then afterwards we can help you. There's so many. Delaware County is rich with resources, but mostly there's talk therapy, and not every child is ready to talk about their trauma, right? And so we are starting to provide alternative forms of therapy, art therapy, music therapy. So wherever they are, we take them and we work with them. We have 4 programs. One is called A New Beginning. We work with homeless children. We partner with Wesley House Homeless Shelter. When a child is coming, they let us know the age of the child and we shop and give them what they ask for. We have Helping Hands at Holidays. That's the one that is huge especially around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, where we spoil families and kids. But we use holidays loosely. So they're holidays all year long, and somebody needs something, we're going to feed them. We're going to get them what they need. They need clothes. We're going to get it for them. Operation Graduate is coming up in July, where we take good students who, wouldn't otherwise be recognized. And we provide their college supplies. And this year, we're hoping to give many scholarships to these kids, 20 each year. And we're going to provide mentors for them, and we're going to get them through their college experience. So and then the last one, Thriving After Adversity, is where we work with kids who have been hurt in some way. And we're super excited about what we're doing. Despite the pandemic, last year, we served almost 1,000 kids in Delco.
Wow.
Yes.
That's tremendous.
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, for people that we're on a podcast, so somebody's either driving or doing their errands or something, they can't see what's behind you. But you mentioned quite a number of programs.
Yes.
How do you either resource donations financially or resource items physically? How do people find you to be able to do that? Or what is it you're looking for from the community to help make sure you're serving the children with Every Child Counts?
So actually, I'm getting kind of older. And so what I've done for 3 years is I literally would pick up the phone when we had a need and call strategic people and say, here's our need. And then they call people and then they magically showed up at the door. Well, we were 100% volunteer organization until last summer, when we have 2 part-time employees now. One of them, Sumita, is just amazing online. And I know nothing about online, right? But now all of a sudden, I'm just amazed. We have Twitter, we have Instagram, Facebook, we have stuff that I know nothing about. And we have our website. And when I tell her what we need, she goes online and she types, and then people show up. right? So she says, I'm going to say her words. Our Twitter handle is at ECC Inc. 2021. Our Facebook handle is at Every Child Counts Inc. And all the other handles is at Every Child Counts with an S Inc. I could pretend like I know what that means, but I would be lying to you. But I think people who understand social media knows that.
Yes.
I do know our website, which is eccinc.org. That's so nice and easy for me.
That's perfect. I mean, I think you sound like an expert with all that. That was great.
There you go.
Talk about some of these success stories. Talk about some of the children, obviously not by name, but just some of the ways you've helped people with all. I mean, you've got so many programs under one umbrella. Share some of those stories so people can get to know you a little bit better.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's so wonderful. So I love it so I don't push anyone to stay with us, right? I think everyone has a right to go wherever they feel comfortable. But when they choose to stay with us, we bless them. So I have child abuse or victims of abuse who have come to my office for a medical evaluation through my private practice, and we tell them what we offer. Some of them choose to come to me, not all of them, but some of them choose to come and get some of those resources. Well, they stay for years and we help them all along the way. And some of them want to go to college and we say, hey, we can help you with that. We can provide your college supplies. We can continue to mentor you and help you get through. So we've had some kids who've been with us 5-6 years, and our goal is always wherever they come in to get them through or to our Operation Graduate. And one of our students, Kayla, has been vocal about it and actually has spoken up even online about what we've done to help her. And she's now a sophomore at Newman University, making me proud. We have students from other years. Our first Operation Graduate students are now seniors. Some of them are pre-med. They're doing fabulously. And I am so delighted for them. We have many young kids who are coming through, and, we're just trying to it's so challenging that, there's a cycle of abuse, right? So unfortunately, the kids being hurt are not the first in the family to be hurt. Many times their parents have been hurt,
right,
and they're also wounded. So sometimes we're not only getting help for the child, but also for the parent. And we're trying to say, hey, let's help the whole family at the same time. We are kid organization. Let's get you help. So even though we don't provide the services for the parent, we're hooking the parents up for services so that when we help the child, we elevate the whole family. Our goal with Operation Graduate is to get the kids to finish up, hopefully to come back, and if we can just one at a time, have one child help another child, we can help so many children. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Slowly but surely, we can change communities, and we can change the way communities think.
There's a lot that you just said that resonated with me, and I hope the listener heard that. What really I found was, yes, there are victims in this cycle, but you can't treat even, I'm going to say the word perpetrator, as there's a demonization. And yes, there's wrong that goes on there. It's not right to what somebody as an adult figure or an authority figure would do to a child who has no knowledge and there's just innocence there. But if you take that formula and you say, wait a second, let's stop this cycle. You're a victim too. How can we help you?
Yes.
You bring everybody together. I think even on more of a level plane, you level the playing field to say we're all going to get help. So I think a lot of times, and you can speak to this better than I can, sometimes it's about not knowing where to go and feeling very uncomfortable or scared, even reaching out for help, because you don't know what the end result's going to be and the people you're going to meet and how do you trust people, all that, right?
Yes. Yes. And, I remember when I first started doing child abuse more than 20 years ago, unfortunately, many perpetrators of child abuse are actually kids themselves. And I remember reaching out desperately for help for one of my patients who was a young teenager, a male teenager. And I'm saying, wait. I'm not trying to get anyone arrested. I'm trying to get help. And it was devastating for me to find out that the only way to access help for that child was through the juvenile justice system.
Yeah.
And so, I knew at that time I had to somehow preventive care, I have to talk to them. So I spend time talking. I have a private practice in addition to my child abuse practice. And I say to them, you got to be careful what you do with the phone, buddy. You don't ask anybody to send you naked pictures of themselves because you can't. That's against the law, right? And so I spend the time talking with them. Now, many times they don't listen, and unfortunately, they have to suffer the consequences. But then I hope that they're able to access those services. I wish there was a better way, right? But I can only do what one person can do. I can only do what I can do. But I absolutely hear what you're saying. You're right.
At the core, it's really about trust.
Yes.
Somebody needs to find trust in you. They need to they need to find trust in the services and the people that they're interacting with. Every child counts. If they can find that level of trust, you can get over that hurdle. Then there's growth, there's openness, there's vulnerability that can take place from there. Yes.
Yes, we need to have more people that they can trust, right? Not only with me, like in the community, right? I grew up in a different country. So I'm a first generation immigrant that moved to Delaware County. We came straight here from Guyana and we moved to Swarthmore. And I love media. We moved here very quickly once we got here. I love this area, and I'm so grateful to be able to give back. Because when we came here, we were allowed to bring $100 American. And, for a family of 6, what can you really do with $100 American when you have nothing else? And that's what we had. And so I was 16 when I came here, and I was one of the breadwinners. I learned about this job called babysitting. And then I used to play the piano. And in Guyana, at that time in Guyana, you didn't have TV. So we had so many activities that we could do. And that's a great skill for babysitting. So I was a hot commodity when we got here. I had my first job within a week of arriving in the United States. So I helped to pay for rent, but that was important to have a roof over our head. But then wasn't enough to buy food. So I was one of those hungry kids. And it was just I was so thankful for Leaper Presbyterian Church, which no longer exists, by the way. They showed up with all this food.
That's wonderful. I mean, yes. I really, I'm inspired by your experience. I'm inspired by your story. I'm picturing almost when you're in Guyana and your family's huddled around a globe and they say, where do you want to go? And you spin the globe and you put your finger on it and it stops and you look at each other and go, Swarthmore?
Yeah.
You're going to Swarthmore.
Actually, no. Our uncle lived here.
Your uncle lived here.
Our uncle lived in Swarthmore. He was an amazing physician. He's my mentor, my Uncle Claude. And
I was going to ask you, what inspires you? What gets you out of bed every day? And it sounds like your Uncle Claude, but is there something more that inspires you every day, Dr. Messam?
I have to help the kids. Our kids are misunderstood. So there are times when I come in, and especially teenage kids who are hurt are angry. So many times kids who are hurt, they tell, and nobody believes them.
Right.
And they tell again, and they investigate. The county closes the case, and they're put back in that situation, and they're hurt again and again. And it's no one's fault. They can't prove a case. They can't do anything, right? the child is hurt again and again and again, right? And then by the time they get to me, they're teenagers and they're full of rage, and they come in here and they're telling me off when they come in. And I remember I was full of rage. I was full of rage, right? Why should I talk to anyone? And I just sit and I listen to them. I get it.
It must be so fascinating for you when you see that transformation from somebody that comes in to see you the first time, all that rage, all that anger, all that part of they can't really trust anybody. And then they become more at ease and that edge starts to wear away. And then you get to see that really beautiful person inside that now can be on the outside, right?
They transition in that visit because many of them I see sometimes I just see them once. Sometimes I get to see them more than once. I'm always trying to see them because of court. I try to not take a history more than once or not to do an exam more than once unless I need to show that their injuries are healing. And so I never bring up abuse more than once with a family unless it's really necessary. I'm just trying to get them to heal. And I'm trying to get them to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that you're going to get better, because sometimes they don't realize that they can get better. And when you're in the midst of it, you just don't see that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
Like it's never going to end. And to someone who hasn't experienced it, it's like, it isn't going to end. No, it can end. There's so much beauty around you. And we just have to teach them. We have to look for it. You just step outside.
We talked about your origin story, how you came to Delaware County, how you came to Delco. What does Delco mean to you now? What is it about Delco for you?
Oh my gosh, I love Delco. So I'm happily married to an amazing man, and we raised our 4 children here. We're part of the Rose Tree Media School District, and our last amazing kid just graduated from Pencrest. And I'm just feeling he's still at home, but he's going to be leaving. I just can't even imagine it. I am so grateful for how we've been richly blessed. And I, when I came, when it was so violent in Guyana at the time that we left, and I always wanted, my goal was always to become a doctor, learn how to take care of kids who were traumatized, and to go back home. When I was at Swarthmore High, that's where I went to school. It's no longer in existence. That tells you how old I am, right? I was at Swarthmore High School, and they used to bus kids in from Chester. Of course, I knew nothing about the geography, and I was just so sad to be away from home. And it took me many years to realize Chester was down the street and what Chester was and what everyone was talking about. My teachers were so amazing to me at Swarthmore High School, and they absolutely loved me, saw potential in me, and helped me. And literally, if you have one teacher or one person who so believes in you and helps you and says, you can do it, you've got this. Wherever you are, no matter what you've experienced, we can help you. There's help out here. You can become whatever you want to become. It just can change the trajectory of a child's life. And those people are few and far between in these days. And that is something that any and everyone who works with me has to do. If you don't have that commitment, you can't be with me. So I'm really still, this is what Delco was for me. And this is what we're going to do for Delco.
I love it. I really love it. You're just a light to speak with. It's wonderful. So I have a few Delco questions for you.
Go ahead.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The family, your wonderful husband, the kids, they say we want cheesesteaks tonight. Where are you going?
Cheesesteaks?
Yeah.
We're going to Philadelphia.
Okay. You're not even staying in Delco?
I'm sorry. We're not staying in, like, just cheesesteak is a joke if you're complaining. My husband graduated from University of Pennsylvania's grad school. Yeah, we're going to Philadelphia. Sorry.
All right. I'm afraid to ask where you're going for pizza now.
So wait, I'd have to go with my son.
Okay.
Our son, oh my gosh, he's going to get me. I forget where he goes. I just let him order.
Okay. You just wherever he wants pizza
orders.
from, he orders. That's okay.
Yeah.
Where if you had you had family, friends that weren't from the area that wanted to get that Delco experience, what would you share with them? Where would you take them? Where would you send them?
Okay, so we go. I go to Iron Hill Brewery too much.
Okay.
Just way too much. If we're not there in person, we're ordering out. Or we go to what's the steak place? Outback Steakhouse. We also love Fellini's. We just love walking down the street in media. It's
really that media experience. Is there a favorite? Do you have a favorite beer or a favorite food at the Iron Hill?
We used to love crab cakes.
Okay.
And they don't offer it anymore.
They took them off the menu.
Oh my gosh, it's like crushing. Holy cow. So
crab cakes got expensive, so I can understand that.
I do, but I was there 2 days ago and I ordered jerk shrimp.
Okay.
And I love their house nachos, and I always get extra topping on the side, and they always act like I'm a weirdo. So they're going to know exactly who it is.
They know who you are. Yeah. Now they know Dr. Messam, the person that orders that extra stuff on the side.
Yes, always.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You're looking for that convenience store option, Wawa or Royal Farms?
Wawa. Mm-hmm.
Now, this has been a wonderful treat for me. I really appreciate our time together. Is there anything that you want to share with the audience? Anything else that we didn't cover on the podcast that you want to talk about today?
So, I mean, we are so busy now, and I really need to do my work, which is actually caring for the kids, mentoring the kids, talking to the kids. But I need more staff. So we would really appreciate anyone's support. You'll see that Samita posts like stuff, online lists where you can go to Amazon or Amazon wish list. If you don't mind helping us, we would really appreciate it. Of course, if you have $10 to donate, we would appreciate it. We do wonderful work, and we have done so almost with 100% volunteers. We have fierce volunteers. It is amazing, but we really need more help now.
So where do people go for help? I mean, you need more physical help, more volunteers, more. Are you looking to hire paid staff? No, we don't need more volunteers.
We have a plethora of volunteers.
Okay.
So we really don't need more volunteers. They call, they show up, and I have a list of those are on standby that I can call anytime. So they can let us know that they're interested so that we can reach out to them as we do big events. If they are interested, they can let us know and we'll reach out. But we have so many people that volunteer on a regular basis. So we really need anyone who's available to donate who would help us.
You mentioned big events. Are there certain larger fundraising events that you do throughout the year?
So actually, we really have not done any fundraising events because of COVID.
Okay.
But we will start doing some fundraising events, and we'll post them on all of our sites, Facebook, everything. We have Operation Graduate, which is coming up. So we'll post all of our cool graduates. We have 20 of them.
Wow.
Coming up. Yes. It's so cool. They're wonderful kids. And it's such a fun event. And they'll meet this year. They will meet their mentors on site, because we've been saying, if you request a mentor, we'll provide one. And it's just underutilized. They need to meet them. They need it. If they have someone who's meeting with them, then I think that they will see the value of it. But when you tell a teenager, if you need it, reach out, they're like, I'm busy. right? I got to go hang out with my friends. So this year they're meeting them on site, and it is going to be such a fun event in the end of July.
Well, I think all the work that you and your staff and the volunteers are doing is just tremendous. It's heartwarming at a time when people really do need help, and it's hard to find resources and people they can trust. Dr. Messam, thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast. You mentioned your websites, you mentioned your social media places where people can find you, donate, all those things. We look forward to being a resource for you at what's happening in Delco. And if there's anything, anybody can do, don't hesitate to, find Dr. Messam and her staff and everybody so you can help these kids, because every child counts.
Thank you. They do.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.